Hello, great people. It's very obvious INEC has chosen to deliberately not publish the results of the 2023 presidential election, which took place on February 25th, 2023. And by the way, there are so much inconsistencies with the ones they uploaded and what was announced. It is so clear that INEC purposely announced whoever they cared to as the winner of that election and asked everyone else to go to court. Nigerians have been massively robbed by this electoral body under Mahmoud. Today we are going to show you investigation carried out by a respected statesman, and you will be shocked. You will weep for Nigeria. You will weep for what these guys have done to us. And just like Chimamanda said, such is unforgivable. By now, I expected heads to have started rolling, but just that we are in a country where things does not work. This video is focused on Atedo Peterside's reply on findings they made regards the 2023 presidential election. Some of you would have seen the video, but oh my God, that video needs to be in the gallery. That video needs to be kept safe. And the reason I've come is to shed light on that. In fact, the video says everything already, but I need to look at that video. For those who have not seen it, I want to tell you all it says. Oh my God. I don't know whether anybody can forgive INEC unless things are redressed. Now, on that video, I will start with his third figure 3, what he called figure 3. He started with figure 1, figure 2, and figure 3. And I think figure 1 and 2 dealt with mainly gubernatorial election, but this particular figure 3 dealt with the presidency, the presidential election. And first of all, before we start, I want to commend Peterside and his team, whoever has compiled this. Oh my God, they totally exposed INEC. You know, prior to that election, they were doing some predictions, yes. And according to him, things went according to their prediction, almost near. And based on that, their prediction, they said Northeast will be won by APC and PDP. And they said PDP will have more votes in the Northeast. And that was how it went, or it should have gone. Now, concerning the Northwest, they said PDP and APC Labour will be low there. But if you get to Southeast and South-South, it is LP. Then North Central, they said Labour will maybe second, but Labour get fewer votes than APC according to reports. Then Southwest, Labour came third, as against their predictions of Labour coming second in Southwest. Meanwhile, during the program, he said he will have some explanation to make on that. Let's get to their figure 4. Figure 4 shows the results of all the states. As you can see, INEC's results show APC got between 25% and 29% in 8 states. Please note, based on INEC's results compiled from INEC's declaration, APC got 25% and 29% in 8 states. Now let's go to figure 5 of the report by, remember we're looking at report by Peterside. He was exposing INEC. Now figure 5 it talks about INEC's readiness on the day of the election. As at 9:30, I was at my polling unit, and people were already lined up and voting has begun. But while I called my mom in the southeast part of the country, she said they were yet to see INEC arrive. As at 9:30 a.m., heading to 10, my mom in the village said they were yet to see INEC arrive. And that was the case with several southeast states. Now look at this in the view of what Peterside said. INEC didn't arrive on time on some regions. Let's look at the average time of arrival of INEC based on Peter Side's reports. Now let's show you. As we are talking about each geopolitical zone, INEC arrived at very different times. Now let's check the average time INEC's readiness on each geopolitical zone. North, East, they were 40% ready. Then Northwest, they were 37% ready as at the time. This was around 9. Then Southeast, they were only 7% ready as at the time of checking this report. Southeast was behind in terms of INEC's arrival to polling units. You know, without INEC arriving, the election will not start. So please pay attention carefully. South-South, INEC was at the same time 15% ready. Now let's get to figure 6. INEC was 44% ready nationwide for the election as at 9:30 a.m. Not fully ready as at 9:30 a.m. Overall, INEC was 44% ready. Now in Southwest, when things have picked up, INEC was 67% ready. That's quite high. That's the area Tinubu is expected to get more votes. So you can see the build up from the start. Don't you think certain things are wrong or right by these figures? 67% in Southwest. It's like the election was meant for the Southwesterners. That's quite high. Now, as at the time, INEC was 67% ready in Southwest. In Southeast, it shifted from 7% to 11%. We're talking about INEC's readiness. This is according to a guest on Arise TV, Peter Side Atedo, who was working with an agency concerning the election. And as at that same time, INEC was 32% ready in South-South. Meanwhile, Peter Side rounded up by saying later other regions, picked up. Later they voted. Thank God there was still time. Who knows how many people have gone home. Now let's look at figure 7. Percentage turnout of voters on various states as arranged by Peter Side and co. Remember, we commended Peter Side at the beginning of this. It was his doing. We've gone through INEC's readiness at various regions at a particular time during the election. Now we're looking at the percentage turnout of voters in various states in this report compiled by Peter Side and a particular organization. Jigawa took the lead. Jigawa in the north took the lead. 39% voted or got to vote, and Plateau followed. Rivers was the worst. If you check the list down, Rivers State was down, the worst among. And Rivers State is in South-South. Voters turnout 14.8% got to vote. So, as you can see on that report, there's a line drawn. Peter Side and his group drew the line. That's somewhere on the diagram, as you can see. That line was drawn to demarcate states that got to vote below 25% turnout in that presidential election. Please note, if you look at that list, all the states from Southeast and South-South were below that 25% line. So it shows South-South and Southeast compliance in the election. The turnout was below 25%. So what really happened? Charles asked Peter Side, what happened? Let me get back to the discussion with my mother, who I told you I called earlier and she told me the INEC people were yet to arrive. I kept discussing with her throughout the day. I was calling her because I am aware of the situation in the southeast, though the tension was already doused. But I kept calling, and she said she might have to get back home due to INEC was here to arrive at the polling unit at a particular time. She said she will go back home if the delays continue. However, my mother later voted that 25th February as at when I called her later, she said the letter came and she voted. Peter Side said INEC's late arrival in the two geopolitical zones of Southeast and South-South may have also contributed to the low turnout. What do you think? Please don't go away yet. There are great expositions made in this particular discussion. So what is he trying to imply, Peter Side? He seems to imply the presidential election of February 25th, 2023 started at different time of the day in the geopolitical zones. So what is the significance? He said, low turnout in some zones. According to Peter Side, the data was provided by an NGO of how voters turned out. It appears where INEC arrived earlier had more voters turnouts compared to where they arrived late. People waited in the sun, failure of the beavers, everything, it got complicated. Some could wait further to vote. Some were told they might vote the next day, but later received another report that the vote was to end that day. And some are tired, some have gone home. Can you imagine? Somehow, a lot of people did not vote because of the late arrival of INEC. Now, when Peter Side was asked about the case of falsification of results in River States compared to what happened in Adamawa, based on his reply, he said, INEC, if they are truly responsible, they should get whoever is working to them to account for whatever happens to results in any polling unit and areas they oversee. We're talking about the case of alteration, falsifying, and changing of results. INEC should be responsible enough to query those who are working with them to make sure things are done right. INEC should not just be in a haste to announce results, just like they did with that February 25th election. Things should not just pass like that. It shouldn't just pass as the wrong thing was done by the wrong persons in some states and the right persons in some states doing the wrong things too. INEC promised Nigeria a free and fair election with the technologies available. So INEC need to make sure they get it right at all times. Peter Side cited INEC's impunity on IREV during presidential election. Not just about Adamawa, which was very embarrassing. Some states refused to upload results. Can you imagine? There isn't uniformity with the submission of the whole thing. Is that done anywhere? And that is why many claim that after the election, the results were taken to some governors and doctored. After doctoring the reports, then INEC collected and, collated. So much evil in the name of election. So much evil. What we saw was a charm. And as usual, a lot of people many people called it INEC selected as usual. Let's look at further reports I have here, still on what Peter Side said. So in continuation, people should be held accountable only if INEC wants to work, because it appears INEC colluded, or else wouldn't have been in rush to announce the results. We perceive they colluded. Now Peter Side went on he reacts to INEC promise to use the beavers and real-time transmission of the results, the case of IREV and the rest of them. If the beavers were properly used the way INEC promised, like you saw INEC boss in the video, if they properly used the beavers as was promised, there wouldn't have been any trouble, or there will be less trouble. The beavers is a good technology, and if they have made good use of it, if the human beings have not interfered, this would have been one of the best elections in Africa. But INEC gave excuses. Now let's get to figure 8 in Peter Side's reports. As you can see on the screen, that's figure 8 that we just flashed. You are going to see terrible things. Uploads to INEC portal. Can you imagine? Look at that figure 8 on INEC's IREF portal. Access denied. Normally, you are expected to see results as promised by INEC. And it will surprise you that 7 weeks after the election, INEC is here to upload all the results. What are they doing? What are they waiting for? 7 weeks. They had to upload all the results. So when Peter Side and his group went to access the portal, what they saw, access denied. Can you imagine? INEC is not sincere with itself. Let's get to figure 9. As you can see on the screen. On the left, on the right, the blue copy is the real result from the polling units. Labour Party scored 137 right there, as you can see, though these things are small. On the left, everything was changed to 0. And there was no case, according to Peter Side, there was no case of overvoting on that would have led to the cancellation. Everything went fine. According to the demands of the beavers, everything went fine. And even the number of voters, everything were intact. So why did INEC reduce the number to 0? 137 on the blue sheet, then on the other sheet, they reduced it to 0. That was for Labour Party. And how do you expect Nigerians to accept such results with what INEC did? There are many instances of INEC's actions that were questionable. Let's go to this one again. The figure 10, according to Peter's side, figure 10. He mentioned of a result in Osakpa, London, in Lagos, a place called Osakpa, London, I think so. Now, on the right side is the results. Labour Party scored 371 votes, and APC and others also scored certain votes, blah, blah, blah. But on the left side, what you see is access denied. What is INEC up to? What is INEC hiding? What are they hiding? This is not a case of a glitch. Okay, they said there was technical glitch and they couldn't upload. No. So what are they still doing? Meanwhile, they told petitioners, go to this site, everything is there. Oh, we want to wipe off the beavers because we want to conduct gubernatorial election. Everything is on our IREF portal. Where is it? Up to today, they are yet to, as at the day Peter Side was in the studio, they are yet to upload all the results. Now again, go to figure 11, according to Peter Side. So there are numerous of these. Peter Side even promised to forward the polling unit number in case they want to doubt it. Do you know what happened in Yobe? An exam result sheet, maybe from, result sheet from the mathematics or maths whatsoever, maybe secondary or primary, I don't even know, was uploaded as, hey, oh my God, on INEC's portal, on IREF. School result sheets. Now on the figure 12 that Peter Side and his team presented, there was nothing on that. There was no results. So INEC just announced anybody and ask us to accept. There are no evidence to prove the person won, or they are still doctoring the reports. The Beavers INEC IREF was to have worked well. The plan would have been excellent, one of the best elections. None, aside the Beavers whatsoever, there are sheets that contain the records of that election, several records, with returning officers signing. Why hasn't INEC uploaded those ones completely? What is INEC hiding 7 weeks after the election? Oh my God. Nigerians, are you seeing? Nigerians, are you seeing? Hi. Hello, Mellow. Anyway, viewers, this is where we round up on this one. Please add your comments. Tell us what you think. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more updates. Bye-bye for now.